Climate change and adaptation. The first unit of this is Earth's climate system. So the first module of that we are going to cover about the basic introduction. So in the syllabus it covers the introductions, then climate in spotlight, what is the present status of the climate, and the Earth's climate machine, how the machine operates, climate classifications, how to classify different climates at different locations, global wind system, how the wind patterns in the planet operates and the dynamics of that, then what is the meaning of trade wind, what is Hadley cell, and what are the westerlies, how the cloud formation takes place and how it causes the monsoon rain, and what are the storms and hurricane, and what are the hydrological cycle, the movement of water in the lithosphere and atmosphere, and how global ocean circulation is affected because of the wind and the rain. Then what is El Nino, what is there is irregularity in the circulation patterns, and what are the solar radiations, how the radiation is absorbed by the atmosphere and the earth, and what is natural greenhouse effect because of that, and what are the aberration in greenhouse effect because of man-made activities, and what are the greenhouse gases and how they go to global warming, and finally how the carbon cycle is maintained and how it is affected by the different activities we carry out. Now the structure of atmosphere, if you look at the vertical profile of the atmosphere, we can see a zigzag pattern. The troposphere is the bottommost division of the atmosphere. It directly affects the weather phenomena like precipitation, wind speed and wind direction, cyclone and so forth. In this zone, as you go upwards, temperature keeps on decreasing, which is also called lapse rate. The rate is about 9.8 degrees centigrade per kilometer for dry air, and this rate decreases with increasing humidity in the air. Above the troposphere there is a stratosphere where the reverse trend is observed, that is increase in temperature with height. But in between troposphere and stratosphere there is a thin layer called tropopause, where temperature remains constant even with increase in height. Above stratosphere there is a stratopause where the temperature is invariant of increase in the altitude, and then mesosphere marked by once again decrease in temperature with height till it reaches the thermosphere where the temperature rises with height. In fact, the temperature here varies from 5 degree to 2000 degrees centigrade or even higher in the thermosphere regions. The figure in the right shows the profile of the air pressure, which also closely resembles the temperature profile. Now, what is the difference in weather and climate? Weather is the temporary condition of the atmosphere at Earth at any particular place, and climate is the overall average weather at a place over a period of time. So weather refers to a short-term changes in the atmosphere. Climate describes what is weather over a long period of time in a specific area. So different regions have different climates, and weathers are always in flux. You can see that how the sun radiations affect the clouds, how it reflected some radiation by the clouds, some by the atmosphere, how the precipitation takes place, how precipitation, the rainfall goes to the rivers, how it goes to the soil, and how the evaporation takes place, how the wind moves, and how these different land air interaction takes place, and what the living organisms in the biosphere, how they interact with them, and the cryosphere like the ice, how they involve there. So all this pattern together they contribute in a flux in the weather patterns. So we'll see what is the present status we are experiencing in the climate, why climate change has become a major topic these days. Climate encompasses the statistics of temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure, wind, precipitation, atmospheric particle count, and all other meteorological elemental measurements in a given region over a long period. That is the climate. More detailed descriptions of that. And so, as you mentioned, that weather is a short period, climate is a long period, prevailing period. the list of the climates that comes from continued global warming is a climate now we are talking, because over a period of time the climate is changing. It's not just weather change is changing, natural. Over every year weather keeps on changing, summer, winter and all these things. But climate is changing with that particular patterns of weather which is predominantly available at particular location. If they keep changing, then there is a major concern. So global warming is one of the major climate change. So what it leads to? Sea level rise, hot spells in the summer, droughts, floods and hurricanes, forest and blizzards, among others. You can see that these days a lot of these activities are taking place more frequently than ever before. Full media attention of this issue is first rose in the summer of 1988, which brought to the worst droughts in decades in US. During the time, United States they experienced a lot of droughts in 1988. For many, it was a proof that some man-made effect has been taking place, and they expected some major changes in the climatic patterns of the globe. In fact, during 1980s, one temperature record after another was broken. Through 80s, the highest temperature record was broken again. And then the same happens again in 1990s. So there's a major concern everybody whether global warming has arrived. And you can see the graphs here. This is a measurement made in the station of top of Mauna Loa in Hawaii. You can note carefully how the magnitude increased from 1958 on to present. All the ups and downs are there. That is naturally expected in every seasons throughout the year, summer, winter. But overall the trend has been on a rise. It is another graph, but this time is a time series graph showing the combined global land and marine surface temperature record. Land and sea surface temperature records from 1856 to 2001. The temperature is plotted as difference, that is called anomaly, compared to what? From the long term average. So average is a value calculated for the period from 61 to 90 is one average value. So compared to average, how the temperature of the land and the ocean are changing. So the blue lines show the land and the red lines show the oceans. So now you can see how the changes have taken place. Differences. So positive differences show the positive anomaly, temperature anomaly, negative is negative anomaly. Negative means is lesser than that, positive is higher than that. Now you can see that 1975 onwards the temperature became high, and it keeps on increasing. It is being compiled jointly by this particular project, Climate Research Unit and the UK Meteorological Office, Hadley Centre, and continually is being updated and improved. The purpose of these measurements is to detect the climate change due to global warming by measuring the increase in the temperature in the records of thermometers. As Mount Loa, they are keeping thermometers records. Increased concentration of greenhouses in the atmosphere due to the human activities are the underlying principle of global warming. Now there is one more parameter which is also very important in the climate change or to the weather patterns. It's called albedo. What is albedo? The energy received from the sun is solar constant, but the energy reflected back is called albedo. How much energy reflected back? So albedo varies. It is a black body or a white body, it keeps changing. So you can see the various albedos given there, and the right shows the figures. So you are given different things at different albedos. How forest has very less albedos, how fresh snow has more albedo. So if you become white color completely, become 100% albedo. Everything reflected back. Dark, 0% albedo, like black body. So albedo makes a difference because how much radiation is reflected back to the atmosphere, that is known by albedo. Now if you look at the Earth's climate machine, how the machine operates, there are two types of heats actually. One is sensible heat and another latent heat. When the rise in heat leads to increase in temperature, this is called sensible heat. When heat is something, temperature keeps on increasing, sensible heat, which we commonly experience in most of the materials. But when there is a change in the phase between solid and liquid or liquid and gaseous, then the rise in heat used in changing the phases, not in rising temperature. This is called latent heat. So for example, heat of the ice to water, so at that time temperature You may give more and more heat, but temperature will not increase. Till entire ice melts to water, temperature will not change. Similarly, from water to vapor, if you heat it up, so the same to 100 degrees centigrade water, 100 degrees centigrade vapor, temperature is not increasing, but an extra energy going and translating the liquid phase to gaseous phase. So that heat is called latent heat, which is not exhibited. Similarly, when it comes back from heat, because extra energy is spent in transferring from one phase to another phase, so now it returns back. For example, gas becomes liquid, then the latent heat again released. There is no change in temperature, then heat released. Similarly, liquid become ice or solid, again heat is released. So when the rainfall takes place, gas become liquid, there is a lot of heat, latent heat released. So that also makes a lot of difference in other parameters. That's why latent is a major concern, not only sensible heat. This latent heat is the energy associated with change in the phase of the substance, that is, changing the state from gas to fluid and fluid to solid, or the reverse. Enormous amount of latent heat is involved in evaporation. Because evaporation, liquid to gas, so a lot of heat goes. And similarly, precipitation, because precipitation from gases to liquid, a lot of heat is released, or the water. Makes this what makes hydrology cycle a central player in the operation of the climate machines. So it's not just water, it's also associated with heat, and heat also makes a lot of difference in wind flow. So you can see this is one of the major parameters which drives the climatic machines, the heat. Warm water, not only that, water also, the warm water that is heated in the tropics and cooled in the high latitudes brings sensible heat in the polewards. Similarly, warm wind carries sensible heat, the sensible extra heat from one place to another place. When picking up the water along the way, for example from the sea surface, the wind can change some of the sensible heat into latent heat. So that latent heat transforms the phase, and those are the water phases carried. The droplets, the water in the cloud actually stores these latent heats. So there are not major changes in the temperature of the air mass, but the heat is being carried in the forms of the change in the phase. So those is when released again affect the atmosphere. So these are the different parameters that makes a lot of the climatic machine move. Here very detailed description about the different activities of climatic machines. You can see here how the solar radiation get absorbed by atmosphere and thus leads to increase in atmosphere temperature. This again leads to multiple changes in atmosphere temperature. What are the changes? Like creating a thermal flux in the ocean associated with a current, which affects at mixing depth. Similarly, it also leads to rise of sensible heat and potential energy flux, and thus water vapor precipitations and associated release of the latent heat flux again. It also makes the changes in temperature and hence the pressure gradients, and it also releases outgoing infrared radiations further assisted by cloud coverage, and increases the release of surface vapors per square unit, and thus precipitation of water vapor also. It also delineates ice area and for that matter land and water balance, which again decides the albedo and thus the reflection of the radiations back to the atmosphere depending on the nature of the surfaces. The temperature and pressure gradients lead to horizontal wind, which drives the whole myriad of meteorological activities such as evaporation, latent heat, flux, vertical wind, current sensible wind, and so forth. In fact, if you minutely observe, the relationship appears to be increasingly interdependent and increasingly complex. So many interrelated processes are in simultaneous operations to make a complex equilibrium of the climate, what we are experiencing right now. And any of the parameters, when muddled, the equilibrium gets disturbed. But the equilibrium has a capacity to return back. But if the disturbance or the interception is persistent, then there is a persistent change in the weather pattern which leads to climatic change, and that is the goal of the subject. We are going to explore what are the parameters which leads to climate change, what are the climate changes, what is the effect of that, what steps can you take to avoid the changes, and what step can we take to adjust ourselves with the changes taking place.